Live from Channel 11 in the Twin Cities, this is Total News.
Good evening. In the news this Friday night, the AFL-CIO has endorsed a Republican for the first time. Sharansky sentenced to 13 years. 2 injured Eagles return to the wilds. Have sports, weekend weather. The attorney for Marjorie Caldwell, Ron Meshbesher, said today a change of venue from Duluth is inevitable, and he'll try to get the trial moved to another state. Mrs. Caldwell is charged with conspiracy in the murder of Elizabeth Congdon. Her husband, Roger Caldwell, is in Stillwater Prison, serving 2 life terms for the murder of Miss Congdon and her nurse. This is an election year, of course, and there were a lot of reminders around the Twin Cities today. Al Quie, the independent Republican candidate for governor, released his 1977 income tax return. He challenged Governor Perpich to do the same. More from Jeanette Harrison.
According to the return, Quie and his wife had a combined adjusted income of a little more than $70,000 last year. They paid nearly $20,000 in taxes. Quie has challenged Governor Rudy Perpich to publicly reveal his 1977 tax return, not because he's suspicious of any wrongdoing, Quie says, but because he thinks all politicians should make their finances public. Quie also said that if he's elected governor, he will waive his right to his senatorial pension until his term in office is over.
People don't accept it when you take both a pension and a salary. If a person stays in the federal government, and then they will reduce your salary by the amount of the pension if you stay in the same place in the federal government. I think that's what we ought to be doing all over the place, but we don't have those laws, and right now I just want to make certain that people know that I won't take that pension income while I'm governor.
If Quie is elected and remains in office for 4 years, he would be waiving about $100,000 in additional income. But Quie says the governor's salary is $58,000, and in his words, a person ought to be able to live on that all right. Jeanette Harrison for WTCN News.
Minnesota AFL-CIO began its screening of candidates today and did something it has never done before: endorsed a Republican for statewide office. IR candidate for state auditor Arne Carlson was endorsed over DFL incumbent Robert Mattson. More from Kurt Johnson.
The all-day screening took place in St. Paul. The Labor Committee questioned a parade of IR and DFL candidates on issues ranging from deregulation of oil to aid for education to tax cuts. Senator Wendell Anderson was one of the DFLers to appear before the committee, as was a Senate hopeful, Don Frazier, who was seeking the Senate office being vacated by Muriel Humphrey. All of the candidates would like the endorsement of Minnesota's largest labor union and therefore willingly took time to appear before the committee. Senator Wendell Anderson said the value of the screening is high, both for the candidate and for the committee.
I think that if you want to run for the United States Senate, people ought to have an opportunity to ask you important questions about vital issues, find out what your position is, and I've done that. I think they ought to have an opportunity to give you pretty good going over, subject you to very close scrutiny, and I think it's helpful to them, and I think it's helpful to me.
Were you satisfied with the questions and your answers in this committee?
Well, I was certainly satisfied with their questions. They're a better judge about my answers, but I thought I got a frankly pretty warm welcome there. It's for 20 years I've been appearing before similar groups. Most of the people there are old friends, so it wasn't a tough audience for me.
Dave Durenberger, a Republican candidate for the Senate, agreed on the value of such a screening, even though he didn't really expect the AFL-CIO committee to endorse a Republican.
And through the process both of preparing for this sort of thing and participating in it, I have a real sense that I can't get just out there on the street for what the working man and woman of Minnesota really wants the federal government to do and what they expect out of a United States Senator. So even though I don't expect to get endorsed, I think the process is very helpful to me, and I'm committed to an open door and an open mind as I had in the governor's office. I will have as a United States Senator even if they don't endorse me.
Some 16 state and federal candidates paraded before the Labor Union Committee today, prior to the committee retiring late in the afternoon to consider which of the candidates will receive the union's endorsements. For WTCN News, I'm Kurt Johnson.
The first American Party candidates filed for office today. St. Paul contractor Sal Carlone is after Wendell Anderson's Senate seat, and Donald Hanson is running for state treasurer. The American Party is the electoral underdog in the state, never winning in office. But that doesn't seem to dampen their enthusiasm. 45-year-old Carlone is challenging well-known candidates Rudy Boschwitz and Wendell Anderson. He says his late start will be a problem, but he says it will be a problem he can overcome.
I would have been at a disadvantage had I run as an independent, but now with the good people of the American Party endorsing me, I think that will help me quite a bit. It is definitely a disadvantage when you consider that Rudy Boschwitz has been campaigning since probably last June or July, and I am just entering the race now a year later.
Striking Northwest Airlines pilots have been trying to get the Mutual Aid Pact abolished. Under the pact, Northwest gets about $1 million a day from other airlines. Today, Senators Humphrey and Anderson, both opposed to the pact, admitted that chances are only 50-50 of congressional action to end the practice. Firefighters in Louisville remain on strike tonight. Garbage collectors and other city workers still off the job in Philadelphia. But police in Cleveland have been ordered back to work after a judge stayed the firing of 13 policemen. Sharansky sentenced today. More reaction, weather, to report on 2 injured Eagles now back home. After this.
This Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at Village Chevrolet in Wayzata, we're giving away baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, coffee, pop, t-shirt decals, and hot buttered sweet corn. Come to our corn feast at Village and see our special purchase of 50 like-new Datsuns. New sticker price on this car was $60.77. Village corn feast discount price is $49.77. That's $1,100 under the original sticker. Hot buttered sweet corn and Datsun discounts. If you don't buy your Datsun from Village Chevrolet, you're blowing $1,100.
To do the job right, you need the right tools, like the ones from the Master Mechanic line at True Value hardware stores. Make auto tune-ups easier with the Master Mechanic 6-piece 3/8-inch drive tune-up kit for just $14.50. Or make household and appliance repairs with the Master Mechanic 14-piece 1/4-inch drive socket set for just $13.95. Get these and other fine Master Mechanic tool values exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
Noisy muffler? Don't compromise. Better Midas-ize at Midas, the muffler specialists.
If encyclopedias were like shoes, maybe it wouldn't hurt so much when your kids outgrow them. Well, that's why the new Britannica 3 is such an advance in learning. It's the one encyclopedia your kids won't outgrow. A young child can use Britannica 3. High schoolers, too. College students, the very same set. It's all here for all the family. Now, the best is even better. New Britannica 3. One size fits all. See our offer in this week's TV guide.
There was once a creature that lived to kill. For one endless summer, it terrorized these waters. And then, it was gone. And yet, in all the vast and unknown depths of the ocean, how could there have been only one?
Mike is out there! Get out!
The all-new Jaws 2, rated PG.
Now showing at the Plitt, Brookdale, and Southdale, Minneapolis, and exclusively at the Roseville in St. Paul.
A small plane has crashed and burned north of the Fergus Falls Airport. Details are still sketchy tonight, but reports say that one person aboard the plane has died at the scene. A witness says he thought the plane was going to land as it approached his farm, but it crashed in a cornfield, bounced about 200 feet, and burned. In the face of mounting world pressure, a Russian court today sentenced dissident Anatoly Sharansky to 13 years in prison for spying for the United States. Sharansky denied that, said today that he is proud that he has lived honestly and never lied. Israel almost immediately announced it would launch a worldwide campaign to win Sharansky's release. In Germany, where President Carter is meeting with West German Chancellor Helmut Schmidt, both leaders expressed their support and sympathy for Soviet dissidents. In Minneapolis today, a demonstration on the Nicollet Mall in protest of the dissident trials in Russia. A report from Janet Henjum.
Members of the Minnesota Dakota's Action Committee for Soviet Jewry donned the garb of a Russian guard and a Jewish prisoner to dramatize what they consider to be the plight of Jewish political prisoners in the Soviet Union. Committee spokesman said they handed out about 500 postcards addressed to President Carter, urging him to continue his strong support for Sharansky and other Soviet Jewish prisoners. For WTCN Television News, this is Janet Henjum reporting.
A big day today on Wall Street. Dow Jones Industrials closed higher more than 15 points, closing the week at 839.83. The end of the week, a weekend coming up, looks like a very good one.
A big weekend coming up for the Twin Cities. Good weather across the nation today. Clear skies for the West Coast, 73 degrees for San Francisco. Very warm today with a high of 96 for Los Angeles. Salt Lake, clear 96, 96 and clear also for Denver, partly cloudy and 75 for Seattle. There were some showers and thunderstorms with very active winds earlier today for Oklahoma. A hailstorm in Nebraska which did some damage to crops, but no reports of any other kinds of damage. We have a low pressure system in the 5-state region located across the western section of Minnesota. We had some light shower activity and we should expect some more this evening, but basically the weather looks good for the entire weekend. Partly cloudy and 86 for Chicago, New Orleans 91 and cloudy, Miami today 87, some showers across the East Coast, 78 today for New York, it was partly cloudy and 78 for Boston. For our 5-state region, we will continue to have mild evenings and very warm days with some scattered shower activity, mostly in the evening hours. Showers are indicated for the northeastern section of North Dakota tonight, gradually spreading to all regions. Lows to highs will range from 60 to 90 with clear to partly cloudy skies. Widespread showers for South Dakota, an overnight low of 65, Saturday's highs all the way up to 95 degrees. Earlier this evening, there was a severe thunderstorm watch for the southwestern section of Iowa. This was terminated at 9 o'clock, and there are no reports of any problems at this time. We do expect some widespread showers throughout the state this evening, 62 for a low. The sun will shine tomorrow, high readings in the low 80s. Cloudy skies, widespread showers tonight and again tomorrow evening for Wisconsin, 55 to 81, the lows range for lows to highs. For Minnesota tonight, showers are anticipated for the southeastern section of the state, somewhat heavier in this particular area. Shower activity throughout all regions of Minnesota with lows ranging from 55 to 62. Will be a nice warm weekend, clear to partly cloudy skies. High readings tomorrow from 79 to 90. At the present time, it's partly clear across Minnesota, 69 degrees for International Falls, 84 partly sunny for Alexandria, Brainerd 84, 83 for Rochester. Our high today in the Twin Cities was at 6 this evening, that was 87 degrees. Our low of 62 degrees was at 1 a.m. this morning. It's 26 degrees on the Celsius scale, 79 on the Fahrenheit scale. Humidity is at 56%. Our pressure is rising at 29.90 inches of mercury. We have winds from the north at 8 miles an hour, and we have clear skies at the present time. There will be a chance of a brief shower or thunderstorm this evening in the Twin Cities. An overnight low of 62 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms are indicated tomorrow evening and again on Sunday evening, but nice warm days. Clear to partly cloudy skies and highs for Saturday and Sunday in the upper 80s. The probability of rain is 20% through tomorrow evening. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Sunrise is at 5:40, sunset is at 8:58. First quarter of the moon phase, and enjoy your weekend. Gil?
Thank you, Tony. At the University of Minnesota, there's a little-known and unique program dealing with the rehabilitation of animals and birds. Nancy Nelson reports on one success story.
The Raptor Research and Rehabilitation Program at the University of Minnesota is the only one like it in the entire nation. It's been alive since 1972 under the direction of Dr. Pat Reddig and Dr. Gary Duke. It is their job to put back together, if possible, a lot of birds, endangered species, birds of prey, many of whom are important, of course, to our whole ecosystem as well as the beauty they provide. And Dr. Duke, you tell me that if it weren't for your facility, a lot of these birds, of course, would never make it.
Well, that's true. Everything that comes in would have died had it not arrived at our place, and we try to release everything that comes in, of course, that's the first objective, and we do release between 35 and 40% of the birds on the average. Birds that aren't releasable then can be used in breeding projects or in research projects where they're primarily being fed or having blood samples taken, not something that harms them. We don't think we'd like that. Or they can be used in zoo displays to prevent having to take an otherwise healthy bird out of the wild for that purpose. So everything goes to something useful, we hope. Even birds that die, which is something we don't like to talk about, but even the dead birds go into museum specimen cases, again, to prevent having to take an otherwise healthy bird for that purpose.
The catch, I understand, Dr. Duke, is that you had to apply for refunding again to the National Fish and Wildlife, and the $21,000 you asked for was turned down. That means without a miracle, by next year at this time, you're out of business and there just isn't any place for these birds to be saved.
Well, that's true. We're searching frantically, trying to find funding from any one source or any number of sources. And we think it's important to keep the program going because not only are we rehabilitating birds and putting them back into the air, and of course that's important particularly for that individual bird, it's very important to him, but also we have an ongoing research program that's helping us to learn a lot about the diseases of the birds, which I think can eventually be used in their management. And we're also learning a lot about surgical techniques and management techniques for the birds themselves. So beyond just releasing the few birds, we feel that we're making a big contribution and potentially in the future can make an even bigger contribution to the health and welfare and management of the birds.
The moment of release of a beautiful golden eagle, which is what happened today with 2 of them, has to be very, very special. And those of us who were here witnessed how truly beautiful it is. Although you've seen it an awful lot. Does one get very used to it?
Oh, no. This is where it's all at. You know, if it weren't for this release, I'm not sure it'd be worth it. And we clutch up, tears come to my eyes thinking about it every time, in spite of the fact that we've released 400 or 500 birds now. It's truly the greatest thing because, well, for one thing, we're never really quite sure it's going to work. We can't flight test them in the lab, but when they take off like these bald eagles or these golden eagles today and set their wings and glide, it's just fantastic for us to know that we've had some little part in it.
The screech owl, the barn owl, the saw-whet owl, the peregrine falcon, the beautiful golden eagle, and of course the bald eagle. They all go free thanks to people like Dr. Rettig and Dr. Pat Duke. And they're very concerned that a year from now, without some very special help and concerned citizens, they might not ever be able to experience again the beauty of that bird going free.
And Roger after this.
What's the best-selling car in the Northland? Well, it isn't a car. The best-selling car in the Northland is a truck, a Ford truck. Drop by your Northland Ford dealer and ask to see the best-selling car up here.
Up here in the Northland.
Don't be surprised. It's a truck.
Ford is a better idea.
Want to see something you've probably never seen before on color TV? A 2-year warranty from Sanyo on parts, picture tube, even on labor.
That's life. That's what people say.
You really have to be sure of your product to offer a 2-year warranty. Sanyo is sure. Ask anyone who owns a Sanyo.
I said that's life.
What's this? Eucro Smoker's tooth powder? Tastes awful. Clumsy can. Turns stained teeth into a sexy smile. Why does a faithful husband need a sexy smile?
I could explain.
Who is she?
It's you. I'd even use Eucro Smoker's tooth powder for you.
I believe you.
You do? Why?
I use it for you, too.
Eucro Smoker's tooth powder from England. If you want whiter teeth badly enough, you'll put up with it.
We're still fussy about our food. Remember Ember's restaurant. We're still fussy about our food. Remember Ember's restaurant. There's one way after all that we've gotta be. We're fussy about our food. We're fussy about our food. Remember the Embers.
Compare the taste, compare the price. The only difference between Bubble Up and is the money you save. Now get 2 bottles free when you purchase 6 16-ounce bottles of Bubble Up.
Twins leave Baltimore tonight probably just as well.
Yeah, it was a brief 2-game series, but I think you're right. They're probably happy to be getting out of town. It doesn't look like that all-star break did the Twins very much good. They had an 8-game winning streak going in, and since they have lost 2 straight. Tonight they managed just 1 run in losing to Baltimore 5-1. That game was scoreless until the 5th inning tonight when the Orioles jumped on Jeff Zahn for 4 runs. First, however, the umpires jumped on Baltimore manager Earl Weaver. Watch this move. Is that great? Fakes right and goes left. Good play, Earl, but he blew the layup. In that 5th inning, Mark Belanger doubles to left field here. The Twins have Rick Dempsey cold at the plate, but you see what happens, unfortunately. The umpire says out, but Butch Weininger dropped the ball. Then he says safe. Baltimore led 1-0. Then Ken Singleton lined one off the leg of Jeff Zahn. Belanger scored from third, and that made it 2-0. And finally in the inning, Doug DeCenze doubled to left field. Singleton and Eddie Murray both scored, and the Orioles led 4-0 after 5 innings. The Twins did get one back in the 7th inning. Jose Morales at bat. He had a sacrifice fly to right field. Danny Ford on third base had no trouble whatever scoring after the catch, and that made the score 4-1. But the Orioles got that run back in the bottom of the 7th inning when DeCenze again. He singles to left field to score Larry Harlow and make it 5-1. And unfortunately, that was it. The Orioles win at 5-1. The Twins have now lost 2 straight. Scott McGregor went the distance and got the win for Baltimore. Jeff Zahn, the loser for Minnesota. Twins now move on to Boston, and they will play the Red Sox tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. airtime here on Channel 11. On the scoreboard now, bottom of the 9th, Boston batting and trailing Texas 4-2. The Yankees in Chicago were tied at 5 in the top of the 9th inning. Top of the 7th inning, Kansas City trailing Milwaukee 2-1. Toronto and California just getting started on the coast, and the same is true of Cleveland at Oakland and Detroit at Seattle. National League today, 2 home runs for Fernando Gonzalez, and San Diego beat Chicago's 9-5. Tonight, Atlanta over Philadelphia 7-2. First of a doubleheader, Houston beat Montreal 4-3. Top of the 8th inning, San Francisco trailing Pittsburgh 5-2. Cincinnati leads the Mets 6-3 in the top of the 8th, and Pete Rose has hit in his 27th straight game. In the top of the 8th inning, the Dodgers batting and trailing St. Louis 2-1. The Minnesota Women's Golf Association Match Play Championship concluded today at the Minneapolis Golf Club, and our Barry Siebert was there.
Yesterday, 18-year-old Lisa Kluver lost to Joan Garvin 1-up, and Ann Zahn lost to Jan Kalin. So today it was a tournament of the veterans. 5-time match play winner Joan Garvin out of the Minneapolis Golf Club against Jan Kalin, a 2-time winner of Town and Country.
Garvin successfully defended her title and won the Minnesota Women's Golf Association match play title, downing Kalin this afternoon 5-3. The match was a replay of the 1975 championship at Oak Ridge, which Garvin also won.
For my own score, medal-wise, or stroke-wise, is about even par, which was okay. And I ran in some putts today against Jan Kalin, which is her trick usually. When we play together, she always runs those putts at me, and so today it was my turn.
Garvin has won 16 major golf championships during her career, only one short of the record held by Bev Vanstrom.
What's next for Joan Garvin?
Well, I'm going to go up to St. Cloud and play in the State Am. Give that a shot.
Okay. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Defending champion Tom Watson and Peter Oosterhuis share the lead after 3 rounds of the British Open, both at 5 under par 212. Watson dropped birdie putts of 50 and 20 feet along the way to achieve that tie. Tomorrow's final round should be a real horse race. Jack Nicklaus and Ben Crenshaw are part of a group of 4, just 1 shot back, and Tom Weiskopf and Tom Kite trailed by 2. The Minnesota Kicks will play Tulsa at the Met tomorrow night. The Roughnecks are their closest pursuers in the Central Division. The Kicks with 119 points, Tulsa 114. Usually, a contending team has one game during the year that it must win. So I asked Coach Freddie Goodwin if this is the one.
I think this is the most important game we've played this year. We obviously, if we can win it, it will give us a cushion of a few points between us and them. We do have a game in hand. If we lose it, all is not lost. We've still got 6 matches to go, but it is a key game, and I think it's most important in terms of showing whether we're good enough to go far in the playoffs. We have to beat Tulsa.
Besides the Kicks in Tulsa, Dallas also a contender in that division, so I asked Mark Moran if Tulsa or Dallas is the team to beat.
Well, Tulsa's a real good team. They're in shape. They run at you a lot. We played them in Tulsa on the AstroTurf, and we were winning. We kind of let the game get away from us. We played real well, and I think we're going to be up for tomorrow's game.
A Canadian judge serving as arbiter in the Gary Sargent compensation case has accepted the North Stars proposal, so Rick Hampton, Dave Gardner, and Steve Jensen will go to Los Angeles. General Manager Lou Nanny says he was very happy with that decision.
Well, we are pleased. Of course, we lost some good hockey players, and we felt that we were giving a fair and equitable proposition back to Los Angeles. You've got to lose a good hockey player to get good hockey players, and we feel we did. We liked Steve Jensen very much, and Steve has been a favorite of ours, and a fellow that always worked hard and played hard. And Rick Hampton's a kid with a lot of potential, and Dave Gardner had a pretty good year last year for Cleveland. So they got some fine hockey players back, and we realized we had to lose something, and we think that the LA Kings got some fine talent in return for Sargent.
You recall, of course, that the North Stars had to compensate the Kings because they signed Sargent as a free agent. Let's just take a look at the rather handsome paint job on this automobile coming up, because it's not going to look like this for very long. This belongs to Channel 11 viewer Bill Schrankler. It's a demolition derby car. You'll see that using good judgment, Bill's got a young lady on his pit crew. He's going to be running at the Elko Speedway tomorrow night. He'll also be running at the Minnesota State Fair. Now, whether we'll have another paint job by then, I'm not so sure, but we do hope that he continues to watch WTCN. You'll get it banged up tomorrow at Elko. Gil?
Okay. Quick word after this.
She heals with a touch and a prayer, and she has White House connections. Read about Sister Ruth and her booming faith healing movement in Newsweek at newsstands now.
Calling all car owners. Champion Auto Stores have a great selection of custom wheels. For your car, see the Typhoon, Classic, Snow Mag, Raider, Sunspoke, and Dish Mag. For your van or pickup, see the Cyclone, Vector, White Ranger, and Chrome Ranger. Our wheels will look terrific on your car, and their low price will surprise you.
See these and more custom wheels at all Champion Auto Stores.
Everyone thinks an old skinflint like me comes to a Ponderosa steakhouse because I'm such a tightwad. Fools. I come because of their delicious super sirloin. Look at that steak. Thick, juicy, tender. I admit I'm persnickety, but Ponderosa always cooks this marvelous super sirloin to perfection. Wonderful. Almost makes me want to buy everyone in the house a super sirloin.
Yeah. Applause, applause for the great super sirloins at Ponderosa.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Central Air Conditioning and Heating is having its biggest central air conditioning warehouse sale in years. We're overstocked. Supervise on used central air conditioners from $149. Floor models, scratch and dents from $249. New units up to $150 off. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only. Central Air Conditioning and Heating Company, 1971 Seneca Road, a half-mile east of Cedar Avenue on Highway 13. Call 454-7760.
We're so confident that you'll be satisfied with your purchase of a new Ford or qualified used car at Midway Ford, we'll give you this confidence guarantee. What does this mean? Drive your car purchase 5 days or 500 miles. If for any bona fide reason you don't like it, bring the car back and exchange it for full value. Just as we have confidence in our cars, in our dealership, you can have complete confidence when you buy your next car at Midway Ford, Snelling Avenue at County Road C, Roseville.
Twins at 1 tomorrow. Right now, Mary Tyler Moore. Good night.
This improved Sargent's flea and tick collar got us a lot more than just protection from flea and tick festation. Sargent sent us $3 worth of gifts free by mailing this foil pouch and gift certificate from Sargent's store display. We got VitaPet tablets for extra nutrition, this valuable book, and 100% beef hide chews.
We got $3 worth of gifts, too. VitaPets, a cat care book, and adorable play toys.
Sargent's free $3 gift offer. Get details on this Sargent store display.
The A&W Root Beer Float. There's a lot more in it than meets the eye. Like our reputation, for quality we've spent years building, and for taste that's never been surpassed. The A&W Root Beer Float.
Take me back to A&W.
We put a lot into it.